Ryu Han is certain, just one more win and his luck will finally turn. He squares off against a massive violet wolf, dodging claws that graze the tip of his nose. He knows a single mistake means certain death, so he waits for the perfect opening and delivers a strike that sends the beast straight back to the lobby. Finally, a break for the kid. He took down a level 4 monster, and the system confirms the experience gain. He can already taste freedom, ready to move on to the next zone, but his joy is short-lived. Out of nowhere, the system glitches out, hitting him with the ultimate bait and switch. Instead of hitting level 5 and earning his exit, the game crashes and resets him to level 1, his entire life's progress wiped in an instant without a word of explanation. Han Bin can't wrap his head around it. He begs, pleads for a way out, but the system is cold and unyielding. No one leaves until they hit level 5. He's trapped in a hellish loop with no end in sight. 1 year passes, then 2, and the kid is still there, hacking away at monsters that only get uglier. 5 years in, and he's starting to lose it. He's got the eyes of a man who's seen too much, swatting gargoyles with the same bored indifference you'd use on a mosquito. He's become a human meat grinder, surviving on nothing but pure stubborn spite. By year 7, he's scratching marks into the stone like a lifer. By year 10, he stops counting. The system promised an epic adventure, and technically it delivered, a decade of exclusive content, where the only reward is keeping your sanity in the dark. Time has lost all meaning. His only company is the endless tide of monsters he has to slaughter just to keep breathing. At this point, level 5 is a joke. No level 5 on Earth has a physique like that. A decade of non-stop hunting has forged him into a literal force of nature. Every swing of his blade deletes anything in its path, shattering every rule the system ever made. Finally, the cave is behind him. Welcome to Latna, a world that looks like a fairy tale from the clouds, but reveals its rot the moment you hit the streets. A couple of locals are already making trouble. The redhead shows no mercy, tearing into some poor soul with terrifying glee. She's completely unhinged, and it's clear she's loving every second of it. Her partner tries to keep her quiet to avoid the guards, but they're on a clock. Their mission, hunt down the Earthling. In this world, being from Earth is like walking around with a giant bullseye on your back. To these two, a human life is a small price to pay for a set of coordinates. Poor Han Bin. He's barely set foot in civilization and he's already got psychopaths breathing down his neck. Look at this guy. He hasn't been here 2 minutes and he's already got a rabid dog latched onto his arm. Ryu Han has no clue what the hell is going on. All he knows is that he's pinned to the dirt wrestling with a beast that wants him for lunch. With no weapons and zero plan, his only option is to grab a rock and start swinging with everything he's got. He manages to knock the thing off, but terror keeps him rooted to the spot. The dog is right there, bleeding and snarling, getting ready for round 2. Han Bin knows there's no middle ground here. It's kill or be killed. He's standing his ground, screaming at a predator that only wants to bite, when he suddenly hears a sound any gamer would recognize in their sleep. A golden window floats right in front of his eyes. The system is kind enough to inform him that his enemy is a level 1 hellhound. Basically, it's telling him that the most basic creature in existence is about to end him before he's even figured out the controls. Han Bin doesn't know whether to be terrified or insulted. Experience points, levels, monsters, his brain short circuits. He's trapped inside a fantasy game. It's hard to believe everything went south this fast. Just a moment ago, Ryu Han was an ordinary civilian who woke up at noon with more laziness than ambition. He'd just finished his mandatory military service and felt he'd earned the right to never lift a finger again. His routine was perfect: PC, snacks, and zero responsibilities. He was convinced that after surviving the army, life would be a breeze. But fate had other plans. He was just sitting there in his gaming chair, crushing chips, when black smoke billowed up from beneath his feet and sucked him straight into this nightmare. The scream he let out probably reached the next block. While back in his room, everything fell silent. Suddenly, he woke up in total darkness, surrounded by people who didn't exactly come with the factory packaging. Everyone was buck naked and completely lost, wondering if they'd passed away or if this was some kind of collective hallucination. It looked like the line for the world's weirdest party. 7 billion people. They basically emptied the planet for this experiment. The entities running the place finally decided it was time to hand out the tutorials, but they had the efficiency of a DMV on a holiday weekend. One of them made an epic blunder and botched the guide upload for candidate 398. Yep, our protagonist is the one who got the glitched support system. Talk about bad luck. Without so much as a by your leave, they tossed him through a portal and dumped him into the world of Latna with less preparation than a background extra in a war movie. He landed in a red desert that looked like hell itself. No weapons, no clothes, and the first thing to greet him was that monster looking at him like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Han Bin didn't just sit there, he went wild, bashing it with rocks until the hellhound stopped moving. He killed his first enemy, and the game informed him he'd earned a whopping 13 experience points. That's like starving to death and being rewarded with a buy one, get one coupon for your effort. He's standing there, covered in blood, processing the fact that his life went down the drain in 10 minutes flat. The kid finished his military service barely 3 months ago, and he's already been drafted into another war without warning. Look at him drenched in gore. What hurts most isn't the wounds, it's the realization that he might die a virgin. A guy with his priorities straight. The tutorial, with all the grace of a boot to the face, drops the stats based on his mediocre talent. He has a 5% chance of survival. It's basically suggesting he start writing his will. The interface even tries to be charitable, asking if he'd like to just end it now to save everyone the trouble. But Han Bin isn't a quitter. He refuses to give those bastards the satisfaction, dragging himself up through pure spite, which actually forces the guide to bump his stats just for having the sheer will to stay alive. Now it's time to pick a class. Since he's no idiot, he looks for something with range. He wants to be a mage so he doesn't have to smell these monsters' breath while he fights them. But the tutorial shuts him down instantly. He has zero aptitude for magic. He tries everything, even a healer, but the screen rejects every option. Apparently, he's useless at anything that requires a brain. Finally, the game gets bored and forces him into the warrior class, operating on the logic that if you don't have the head for spells, you at least have plenty of ribs for monsters to enjoy breaking. He can't even catch a break when choosing his own destiny. It's the same story with the weapons. He asks for a long spear to keep his distance, but the program just dumps a massive greatsword at his feet. When he complains, the guide just admits it messed up with a simple oops. Your life depends on a glitch tutorial, and the admin just said my bad for sending you to your death. Realizing his survival hinges on a system error, Han Bin looks like he wants to rip his own eyes out. But between the pure rage and the nervous laughter, he decides he won't give the admins what they want. He grabs the greatsword and psychs himself up for the start of his legend. He decides to face his fate with his head held high, a gesture of pure courage. Too bad wanting it doesn't teach you how to walk with 40 pounds of steel without fracturing your dignity. The second he tries to move that hunk of metal, the weight wins by a landslide, and he ends up eating dirt. A textbook warrior, ladies and gentlemen. There he is, chewing on gravel because reality hits way harder than any system. It's been a full week since this poor soul crash landed into the living hell of Latna. He keeps asking the guide when he can finally go home, but the system just leaves him on red, talking to thin air. In the meantime, he's stuck brawling with the local wildlife, chasing down green dogs that are more slippery than a bar of soap in the shower. Turns out these beasts are hellhounds, and to make matters worse, they level up too. Luckily, Han Bin finally managed to hit level 2, and in doing so, he unlocked his first skill, Stab. It's a basic move that serves the purpose of any starting zone, teaching you that to survive, you don't need to be a hero, you just need the other guy to die first. He hasn't mastered the elegance of the blade yet, but when it comes to mindless poking, he's a natural. The guide informs him that hound meat and blood are the only things on the menu. It's a revolting diet, but it's his only way to avoid starving in this wasteland. As he chokes it down, he comforts himself with the thought that there are 7 billion other candidates out there suffering just as much. He was promised he could leave the mountains once he cleared level 5 to rendezvous with the other chosen ones. That's when the kid realizes he's trapped in a never-ending tutorial, and that he's a lifetime away from seeing the rest of the continent where the real action supposedly starts. Since the interface is buggier than a cheap burner phone, it throws a critical error right in the middle of the explanation. He has no idea if he'll ever see home again, and with a guide this useless, he realizes he can't trust a single thing. His only choice is to grind like a maniac, hit level 5, and find anyone who has a clue what's going on. So, he puts his knife between his teeth and heads back out for the hunt. He doesn't have time to complain, only to swing his sword and pray it doesn't snap. In the middle of the carnage, he unlocks horizontal slash. It's a simple technique, but to him, it feels like being handed a real weapon after fighting with a toothpick. The level 3 monsters are tough, packing the punch of a trained warrior, but Han Bin isn't the same rookie who first landed in this dump. His life has become a nightmare loop. Fight, get bitten, eat dog meat, sleep for a bit, and repeat. He spends his days slaughtering copies of the same monster over and over, scraping for XP points like he's hunting for loose change in the couch cushions. On the 27th day, a miracle finally happens. A golden notification confirms he's reached the target score. He feels unstoppable. He's now got 3 skills in his pocket: stab, horizontal slash, and vertical slash. The guy looks at himself and can't believe the gains he's made. He's so jacked he's liable to rip his clothes just by breathing. Lifting that massive greatsword is a joke to him now. It's proof that in this world, hard work shows up in your biceps. But of course, happiness in this pit is short-lived. Just as he's celebrating, the screen starts glitching out. And then comes the killing blow. The counter goes haywire and drops him from level 4 back to level 1 in a heartbeat. He thinks it's just a temporary glitch, but the guide lets him taste success just long enough to make the reset hurt even more. He kills himself fighting to regain his progress, but every time he touches level 4, he's reset to 0. It's the most treacherous bug in history, a loop that's going to drive him insane before he ever leaves this mountain. The interface is completely trashed. Every time he takes down a hellhound, an error message pops up like a virus on an old PC. 7 years have passed, and the guy is still stuck on the same mountain, living an eternal cycle of monsters and blood. The silver lining is that as a chosen one, he doesn't age and heals from any wound in a single day. Technically, they gave him immortality just so he can enjoy being chewed on again the next morning. He's so burnt out he tries to convince himself that 7 is a lucky number. But the reality is he's just hoarding useless experience and piling up corpses in a pit that's a monument to depression. He's got more muscle than a transformer, but the kid is still fighting with a beginner's move set. He only knows 3 basic slashes, and he makes do with that. It's like having a NASA supercomputer but using it exclusively to play Minesweeper for all eternity, because the error won't let him past level 4. And when a giant beast made of pure bone appears, the guy doesn't even blink. Instead, he cracks a smile that makes you wonder who the real monster is. He knows these beasts were put here to make players stronger, but he's already in on the joke. It's just 2 things that can't die, killing each other in an infinite loop. The monster roars, but Hanbin doesn't back down an inch. If the beast is immortal, so is he, and he's got all the time in the world to prove it. He's completely lost it. Meanwhile, at the control center, they're launching the 5th wave of players. The administrators are just going through the motions, hoping this batch is actually worth something, until one of these beings notices something odd, a file that looks like it was abandoned at the bottom of the trash bin. It's the profile of Ryu Han. The system marks him as an error, but there he is, still alive in the mountains, and swinging his blade after years of being forgotten. Someone in the office is going to have a lot of explaining to do. Hanbin's eyes snap open, and for a split second, he thinks he's finally back in his own room. He hopes the nightmare is over, but the system never sleeps. A window pops up, casually asking if he'd like to commit suicide. How thoughtful, giving the guy options like that. That's when the crushing reality hits. He's not home. He's still trapped in this crimson hellscape. After 10 years of slaughtering monsters, he's become an unstoppable killing machine, but the program is so glitched that he's been stuck at level 4 the entire time. The people running this show are geniuses, forcing him to survive an eternity without a shred of progress. The only thing he's truly mastered after all this time is the bitter taste of absolute despair. Just look at him. The guy is one bad day away from completely losing his mind. He wonders if this is even living, or if he should just end it all right now. But in the end, he chooses to survive. He's getting out of here no matter what. To keep from going insane in the isolation, he scavenged his own gear. Now he looks like an extra straight out of a gritty barbarian flick. He even built a house out of bones, very minimalist, perfect for someone with nothing left to lose. Just as he's settling in, a giant wolf shows up to ruin his afternoon nap. The beast howls like it's the one being hunted, but Hanbin doesn't even flinch. He stares at the ruins of his shack, fuming. It took him 3 years to build that structure out of remains, and this oversized mutt on steroids leveled it in a heartbeat. Now, out of pure spite, he decides he's going to use the wolf's carcass as the foundation for his next palace. He's sick to death of these creatures, all bark, no bite, and they don't even taste good roasted. But this puppy has a trick up its sleeve. It charges up a dragon breath and unleashes a blast worthy of a movie finale. The beast pulled out the heavy artillery without warning, but it doesn't even tickle him. He walks out of the smoke looking like he just woke up from a light snooze. The only thing bothering him is his singed hair. There aren't exactly any barbers in this dump to fix the mess. The beast loses it, spamming fire and lightning like it has infinite mana, so Hanbin decides playtime is over. He lunges into the fray, finally admitting the truth to himself. He doesn't have an ounce of talent for swordsmanship. He's just a brute with a giant slab of metal. He doesn't have the luxury of leveling up like some lucky protagonist, but he has the muscle memory of repeating the exact same swing millions of times. Consistency beats talent every single time, and he's about to prove it. He unleashes a cross impact that literally splits his opponent in half. It's a basic low-level skill, but with his raw power, it looks like the end of the world. He's just happy he finally nailed the move. He survived another day, even if dinner is just more grilled mutant meat. Meanwhile, back at the system's headquarters, the administrator finally spots the glitch. It's the error boy, the one who's been frozen in time. They can't believe he's still alive after 22 years in that death zone. To these entities, Hanbin is just a bug ruining their stats. The supervisor checks his file and can't stop laughing at a level 4 with such pathetic-looking attributes. He's the perfect user, a guy so insignificant that even the weakest virus would ask permission before killing him. It's hilarious, mostly because the system hasn't read the fine print on his actual strength. Back at the campfire, Hanbin eats. He's still stuck at level 4, but when he opens his menu, the screen goes absolutely haywire. His real numbers are broken. He has 4-digit strength bonuses that the interface can't even process. He's a main battle tank disguised as a noob. He doesn't understand any of it. He's just hungry, lonely, and desperate to see another human being. He starts doodling little houses in the dirt like a child. Poor guy, the isolation has completely fried his brain. Suddenly, the sky begins to tear apart. The administrator has triggered the cleanup protocol to dump him elsewhere. Since a level 4 shouldn't even be there anymore, the system evicts him without a second thought. A blinding light sucks him up, hurling him through a dimensional rift at breakneck speeds. Hanbin soars through the void, wondering what the hell is happening to him now. Finally, the eternal tutorial has come to an end, in the worst way possible. He lands in a new region, but the welcome wagon is a total disaster. A winged lizard is already waiting to have him for breakfast. Surrounded by a graveyard of rusted weapons, he realizes his problems are just beginning. From the looks of it, the real world is just as friendly as the hell he left behind. The monster locks onto him, and it's clearly not looking for a chat. Hanbin braces himself. If 20 years taught him anything, it's that nothing in this life is free. Oof, talk about a total system shock. If the UI can't handle how broken the MC's stats are, let's see if we can break YouTube's servers with the amount of likes you drop on this video. Hit that subscribe button to see where this madness goes next, and drop a comment letting me know which manhwa you want to see on the channel next. Catch you later.